The time being 6:35 p.m., I hereby call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Hanson Conservation Commission to order on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. This meeting is open under Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Chapter 141, Section 40, and the Hanson Local Bylaw, Article 3-13, Section 5. This opening statement will apply for all business conducted at this meeting. As per our standard procedures, the meeting this evening is being audio recorded. We'll begin with a roll call starting to my left.
Lee Stable.
Steve Smith. Randy Gill.
Dave Mansfield.
TJ Rofi.
Mark Adams.
Frank Skellinger.
We do have all 5 seated commissioners here with us this evening, as well as 100% of our office staff. And welcome to our new administrative assistant, Erica. The first order of business on the agenda being the minutes. We'll pass those over for the moment to get to our public hearings. First hearing is a 6:30 p.m. request for determination of applicability for 279 Lakeside Road, map 79, lot 4. Mr. Heel, if you could read the public hearing notice.
Yes. The Hanson Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Hanson Town Hall Select Board's Meeting Room, 542 Liberty Street, Hanson, Massachusetts, pursuant to request for determination of applicability for Nicholas Rubino. Parcel and project. Request to renew a dock permit with a revised dock configuration within 100 feet of bordering vegetated wetlands on Oldham Pond at 275 Lakeside Road, map 79, lot 4. The applicant is filing under Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Hanson Wetlands Protection Bylaw, 3-13, Section 5, and Rules and Regulations. Hanson Conservation Commission. Thomas F. Ropey Jr., Chairman.
Thank you. Welcome back, Mr. Rubino.
Thank you.
We do have a print or a plan in front of us that shows, if I'm correct, the last page is the existing dock, and this first page is the T is the existing, and the L-shaped dock is the new proposed.
This is kind of after the fact.
Okay.
So the T, plan number 1, that was what was licensed back in 18.
Okay.
We did make some adjustments when we bought a pontoon. We swung one of the pieces around. So what you see on plan number 2 is the way it exists today.
Okay.
In talking with DEP on the issue with the stairs and the wall that we had talked about before, they brought it to my attention from looking at aerial maps that it currently doesn't match my license, which makes my license null and void. So basically I'm now filing again for a license for this configuration.
Okay. But the original configuration was licensed, correct?
Correct.
And okay.
And that's place 2.
The plan one on the last page that was the T-shaped dock.
Yeah. Plan 1 is what's licensed, but he
Correct.
wants to change it to Plan 2,
Yes.
Correct.
and it already is the shape of Plan 2.
Yes.
You just want to license it. Okay.
Yes.
So it's the same size, except for a little addition of a triangle area?
No, it's slightly further out, but not by a
About
lot.
Oh, there is a floor by
Yeah.
addition.
So yeah,
Okay.
there's 12, but there's an overlap of 10, so it's 22 plus 8.
Okay.
So it's going from 22 to 30,
Okay.
and then taking this piece and put it over here. So
Okay.
it's not a huge change, but
And it attaches to the shore at the exact same place.
yeah.
So I haven't moved it along.
Yeah, I take it the first 2, the 4x12s, are more or less exactly where they are for both plans, and then it's just a matter of
Correct.
the bottom 4x8s.
Correct.
Okay.
Dr. Skellinger, any comments?
Mr. Rubino will go to the DEP to get his license under Chapter 91. Chapter 91 requires that the Conservation Commission give him some kind of permit because he's doing work within a resource area, namely the lake. So what is usually done, and which I will recommend to you tonight, is that he submitted an RDA to ask if this dock is going to impact the resource area. And we typically give a -3 disposition, which basically says no. So that's all he needs is your vote and a -3 disposition on the determination.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission on that? Anyone in the public here to speak on this project? Seeing none. The chair would entertain a motion to, does he need a variance?
No?
The chair would entertain a motion to close the hearing and issue the -3 determination.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield, seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes 5-0-0. Can I steal the other pen on that?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, we'll pass the signature page along. Hopefully we signed in the right spot. Thank you. All right, having a few moments to kill before our next scheduled hearing, we will turn our attention to the minutes of August 27th, which the roll call vote needs to be changed. Correct?
Yes.
And so, Mr. Hill was not here, Ms. Daigle was.
We're not here yet. We're in there.
Yeah, that's what he's fixing.
So I'm going to take a question out.
Because that's a tough one to do this too.
So that needs to be changed. The roll call vote reflects the 4 names that were actually here.
Is Elise here? Where's my...
Elise,
Elise was definitely here because
I was here, yeah.
that was
how do you spell your
Oh,
name?
D-A-I.
okay. So that's spelled wrong.
D-A-I. Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so that's spelled wrong.
Yeah, it says that on the town website too. It's French. French name.
We,
It actually means of the evening.
Any other issues, typos, motions to correct?
I move that we approve the meetings dated for August 27th meeting per the small addendum and as per printed.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield and seconded by Mr. Smith. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0-1. Mr. Heel abstains. The time having reached 6:45 p.m., we'll turn our attention to the next public hearing we have advertised for this evening, which is to remove 4 trees at 786 East Washington Street, map 113, lot 6A. Mr. Heel, if you could read the public hearing notice.
The Hanson Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 at 6:45 p.m. at the Hanson Town Hall Select Board Meeting Room, 542 Liberty Street, Hanson, Massachusetts, pursuant to a request for determination of applicability for Mr. Robillard. Parcel and project. request to remove 4 trees within 100 feet of bordering vegetated wetlands at 786 East Washington Street, map 13, lot 6A. The applicant is filing under Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Hanson Wetland Protection Bylaw, 3-13, Section 5, and applicable rules and regulations. Hanson Conservation Commission, Thomas F. Brophy, Jr., Chair.
Thank you. Are you Mr. O'Bloy?
Yes.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
So we have a sketch before us of the trees that you're looking to take down. Are the trees dead? Are they threatening your property?
Threatening the one could hit the house, and then 3 are along the power line that goes from the road to our property.
Which is, it appears, a fairly substantially long power line.
Yes.
Okay.
Big tree.
Yeah.
Dr. Skellinger, any comments?
So I went out there some weeks ago now and talked to Mrs. Robles. She showed me which trees were involved. The driveway comes in from East Washington Street quite a distance. It crosses a little stream there. And so along the driveway on both sides are wetlands. The first tree is beyond the stream toward the house, and then they move up toward the house. They're tall trees that threaten the power line that also runs along the driveway. And then there's one tree to the front of the house off the driveway that is tall enough to threaten the house if it were to fall. They're pine trees,
Yes.
as I recall. So in order to approve this, you would need to vote a variance for work in the 50-foot buffer. And I recommend a -3 determination. I will condition the determination by having them leave the stump up. In the case
How
of
up?
3.
Do we
Sorry?
care how up? How high?
Well, typically, we say 8 feet. I'm not too clear on that, but up, not down into the ground. For the 3 that run along the wetland. Once we're out of the wetland, they can cut them down to the ground.
So just for that one that's off to the right there?
I'm sorry?
The one that's not in the line, you're saying?
As far as I'm concerned, he can cut that one
Yeah.
down to the ground.
Okay.
Just for clarity, so are you saying the one that...
The one closest to the road,
Okay.
and probably the next one up from it, which is still within the 50-foot buffer.
So, my rough sketch, all 3 trees here? Or just the front 2?
The one closest to the road,
Yep.
and then the next one toward the house. Leave
Okay.
it, leave
The
it
middle
up.
one.
So the front 2,
Yeah,
and then those other 2 can be cut down.
yeah.
Perfect. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Any questions, comments, concerns from the commission? No? Anyone in the public here to speak on this matter? Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to issue a variance for work within the 50-foot buffer.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield, seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on said motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Motion passes 4-0-0. Nope, 5-0-0. Sorry. The chair would also entertain a motion to close the hearing and issue a -3 determination for the project.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield, seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
See you, Doctor.
Okay. So we did the first item, so we will fall back and do the September 3rd minutes while we await our next public hearing. Mr. Abel's last name is spelled wrong again.
Yeah.
I move that we approve the minutes of September 3rd as printed with the correction of the members' name spelling.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield and seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? That motion passes unanimously. Which does leave us a few more minutes, turning our attention to the board business below the public hearings, the proposed dock bylaw. Was that submitted for the October meeting?
No.
Okay.
No, I submitted it to the bylaw committee knowing that it wouldn't make it into October.
Okay. We might have a quorum at some point in the near future.
How many people are supposed to be on that committee?
5. Currently there are 2.
There are how many?
2. And possibly a third. If she
If
hasn't,
they
if she
were
hasn't changed her
meeting
mind.
regularly, how often would they meet?
We haven't met in the 4 years I've been appointed to the committee.
Not too often, though.
I hate to make the suggestion I'm thinking of making, but it needs to move. It needs to move. It needs help.
Well, so there's no requirement for the bylaw committee to propose the bylaw to town meeting. Anyone can put in the bylaw amendment. The bylaw committee's purpose is supposed to review of the bylaws to make sure that there are no contradictions or inconsistencies in the overall bylaws. So far, the town seems to have been managing without, but there was a possible volunteer for a third spot, which would then lead us to meet on a as-needed basis of probably not more than once or twice a year.
As far as the dock goes, were you going to be meeting with the harbor master? Is that or did we go past that already?
He and I developed it together.
Correct. The bylaw submission to the bylaw committee was signed by both the conservation agent and the fire chief / harbor master. So,
Is this something that can get lumped into Conservation Commission also, since we like oversee bylaws as well?
the function of the bylaw committee is set by a bylaw. So the bylaw would have to be changed.
I didn't like that.
The bylaws are changeable. Town meeting has that power. But as things currently stands, the existence of a bylaw committee is because of the bylaw that says there's supposed to be a bylaw committee.
Go love government.
What'd you say?
Nothing. I just said, gotta love government efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah, efficiency, that's the word for it. So that covers the proposed dock bylaw. Next Saturday, the 27th, is the Hanson Day.
Is that 11 to 2? Is that what that is?
That's a great question.
I think it is.
11 to 2 sounds right. Who is interested in attending on behalf of conservation?
I'm going to be attending, but I'm not necessarily wanting to sit. I'll do an hour at the table, but I want to be able to attend.
You're not even up for re-election.
Go what?
I said you're not even up for re-election.
I'll be there.
Hurts. Hurts, sir.
I intend to be there.
I will be there for as much as needed.
Do we know where the table banner is currently?
Not a clue.
Okay.
The table cover thing?
I don't know.
Hopefully not with my name tag.
It was always handled by Phil.
Well, Lon had that, didn't she?
Lon, I would imagine knows where it is.
Your brother writes with your name tag.
In the dumpster. So we'll have to, or it would behoove us to come up with that, and then
No word from Webster on the banner they were going to make, so I don't think we'll have that.
okay. How about the pamphlets? Are those in your possession or are those in the office?
They're upstairs in the storage room.
Okay. Because we'll want to.
We'll take some of them, Tony,
Round
and
up some of those.
have them on our table. Give us something to talk about.
I hate to go back to Hanson Day,
We're still talking about Hanson
but
Day.
the town website says it's September 27th, rain or shine.
Okay.
We say rain date is October 4th.
We'll cross that bridge when and if it rains. It's not our event.
Should we just
If it
cross
was
out
a
the
rain or
rain
shine,
date?
they meet within reason. If it
No,
Well, no, I think so.
Right.
I think the plan is to do it in the school.
In the middle school,
Indian Head, I think, isn't it?
Indian,
It's at Indian Head.
it is rain or shine.
It has historically been at Indian Head.
Right. It was last year, anyway.
Well, actually, the first year was here, but
What is it?
I believe it's at Indian
It was
Head.
Indian Head last year.
It's at Indian Head in sun, dry, and I believe, is it Indian Head if it's rain also? Tony, do you know?
Believe it.
I think it is rain or shine.
It's a rain or shine
so I
event
don't
that
think-
day.
Okay.
It's outside at Indian Head, I think inside of the middle school if it rains. I can verify that and send it over.
It's not my event.
I'm just saying cross off the rain date.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Rain date's been crossed off on
The
my record.
original information was that there would be a rain date, and that's why it's this way on the agenda.
Oh, I'm just
yeah,
going-
this is just our agenda.
The
That's not
fact
like an
is, it was
official-
changed subsequently, so
Okay, so it sounds like
we'll change.
Dave and I should be there.
Yeah.
Ed will be stirring up trouble. And you said you're coming? Wonderful. Alright, are we expecting Mr. Rye?
I'm sorry?
Are we expecting Mr. Rye?
We are not.
Okay. Is he expecting a continuance?
He is already continued to October the 1st, and this was on there inadvertently. Sorry.
Okay.
He's already continued.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so that covers the 7 o'clock advertised hearing. 7:15 will be the next one. So that gives us a few minutes. So the Nathaniel Thomas Mill Conservation Restriction, I understand, was voted and signed by the select board?
Yes.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been moved to the Wildlands Trust. And subsequently, Scott McFadden sent me an email to say they'd be happy to sign it if we would pay the fee. And then he subsequently sent me a copy
Said
of
fee.
the fee. So that's one of the things you need to talk about how we can pay for that.
The total is 863088.
Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
And my understanding is there is.
Is that an ongoing annual fee, or is that a...
No, they figure it out over a 30-year
Oh, thanks, Tony.
Better than you.
period. So they figure it out for a year, and then they have a multiplier that tells them for 30 years they can cover this if they put the money in treasury bonds.
Oh, that's what this is on front.
Yeah. So you pay it once, and they take care of you for 30 years.
So my understanding is that there is $2,346.25 left in CPC
To pay for this?
There could be.
for the conservation restriction at the mill. Yes,
That sounds about right.
which would put us at approximately $6,300 in round numbers.
What account can we pay it out of?
The only one we have is conservation.
Well,
It's not you. You can't take it out of the bylaw fund. It's not related to the bylaw.
So how do we do
And
it
it's
with
not-
CPC? Do we say we'll pay as much as the CPC will not pay? I mean, because we can't guarantee they will pay us, or did they already say they would?
CPC voted money for the Thomas Mill Conservation Restriction in 2009, and it's been sitting there waiting for this to get straightened out.
right.
So we can assume that money is there.
Yes,
Yes.
So we can vote to pay the remainder.
right. And so the only account we have that we can pay it out of is the conservation fund.
That's it.
Correct, because it's not state wetlands.
The only other options are to go back to the CPC and go through that time, or to put in an article in May.
But we can still vote to spend it today, though, right?
Yes.
Correct. And then discuss, well, so do we have $6,600 in the conservation fund currently?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not doing this math in my head. Eight, 6, 3, 0, 88, 23, 46, 25. So, by my math, it comes out to $6,284.63 that would be coming out of the conservation fund. So the chair would entertain a motion to pay the balance of the conservation restriction endowment not to exceed $6,500.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield and seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Motion passes unanimously. Well, let's leave that agenda item on until we get a chance to touch base with CPC.
They're not meeting again until November. Just so you know.
You people. I guess we can just leave it on the agenda forever then.
Okay.
Master plan, quarterly meetings, drop the ball. Conservation restriction, regulations, drop the ball. So really no update on either of those. Conservation property list. There's been no update on the home rule petition, correct? I haven't
No,
seen anything.
there's no movement in the legislature.
I'll follow up with Mr. Brady's office, see if we get anywhere with that. Property management update, Dave? Can you
A couple of
cover it in
quickies.
less than 10 minutes?
Yep, a couple of quickies. Poor Meadow has cleared the brush, weeds, and whatever from the parking lot into the trail out to the Shumatuskakant River, and I put new trail marker signs on the entire both loops. Smith now Wazelski. I think I told you guys that we put a 24-foot bridge out of fallen trees up there in July. Somebody came and cut it into 3-foot sections to get it to lie flat on top of all the crap that's been thrown in there. So it is easier to walk across, but now it's a dam again. So there it lies. The citizens were helping us again. Meeting with a volunteer on Friday. We're going to clear all the vegetation from the parking lot and along Elm Street. And if we have time, there's a big oak tree that fell, crowns falling across the trail. We're going to clear that out of there too if we have time. If not, I'll do it myself later. So that's it. I'm just going to stop building 24-foot bridges.
Thought crossed my mind. Okay.
Short and sweet.
Okay. Open space acquisition and protection. Any update on our assorted potential gift parcels?
The town council still has the PSA for Hubble. We have not had any word from Eversource. Otherwise, nothing. The proposed gift off of West Washington Street is still with the select board. I haven't heard anything since I came back. And that's it.
Okay. Speaking of government efficiency.
There are a couple of items that are not on the list. One is the MAC conference that's coming up in October 25th. You have a package that tells you what's going to happen there. And if you're interested in going, we need to know so that we can put it in to the treasurer to get the money to pay for the people to go.
What is the deadline for that? Or not, I mean, I earlier than the deadline, but
Well, I mean,
Sooner the better.
you can pay for it yourself and get reimbursed.
Yep.
You've done that in the
Anyway.
past.
Yeah.
But if you want to be on the warrant, then we need to know sooner. So that Erica can put in a warrant.
So we would need to do it at the next meeting, right? Which is October 1st.
Yes, the next meeting is October 1st.
Or how far before October 1st do we need an answer to get a warrant?
Day of. Making a warrant is not hard. We just need to know how much to make it for.
So if you want the conservation office to register, you need to tell Erica by Monday the 29th.
Yep.
Good.
If you'd like to register yourself and put in for reimbursement, whatever the deadline options are.
And that'll be held at Devon's, as usual.
Yep. Well, I plan to go if I can. My October schedule is really crazy this year, so I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check with my scheduling agent. Is that it for items not on the agenda? You said there were a couple.
Yeah, I thought there was another, but I don't remember what it was. So, no.
Okay. We've got about 5 minutes left to kill before the next
Can we do
public
invoices?
hearing. We can send the invoices if they're ready.
This one I accidentally put it on there twice, so
Okay.
it's just the top two and bottom two. Take them one at a time, or?
Yeah. Or it doesn't matter.
Alright.
I'll hand them down one at a time either way. Four or five bags. And no notes.
Okay. Wish there would be more, but
Two of the invoices you're signing are for Phragmites work that was done at Smitty's and Camp Kawani by the Water and Wetlands people. That was just done this past week.
Was this year 2 of 3 or 3 of 3?
I'm sorry?
This year. It was a 3-year plan. Were we in the second year or the third year?
This is the third year.
Okay.
Yep.
And the articles.
They will be back later in the fall, probably early December, to do the final kill. And then they will assess to see whether we need another. And there's still money left after we pay them.
Don't say that too loud, Eric will be taking it back before the end of the night.
It is what it is.
Japanese knotweed at Ormella, by the way. Sadly.
Jesus, stuff's everywhere, huh?
Yep.
Time to buy a goat.
Time to buy a goat. Yeah.
We talked about that one time.
But buying
We
a
talked
goat,
about renting a
have
goat.
town goat.
renting a town goat.
I don't think we discussed buying one. We definitely discussed renting one.
Yeah, no, I think we jokingly discussed buying one.
Which one do we take out? This
David
one?
being serious about.
I think we voted to store it at your yard.
Yeah, I got knotweed in my yard. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a place to put the goat?
Yeah, exactly. My dog might not like it.
My wife will probably take the goat.
I know. One of my dogs will like it. The other dog will love it.
It's gone.
Gone, huh?
My knotweed is gone.
No, you probably shouldn't ask what you did with it.
No, but it's gone. Lots of illegal chemicals. No.
All right. The time being approximately 7:15 p.m., we return our attention to the next item on our agenda, which is a continued notice of intent for the Pratt Place culvert replacements. And with us this evening are representatives of Verdantis and Ecotech and the town planner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Jeff Plant and Roy Messier from Verdantis and Paul McManus from Ecotech. For the benefit of the commission, it might be helpful just to do a quick recap on where we left off and what we are proposing going forward. And the purpose of tonight's meeting is if the commission is comfortable with what we're proposing, then we would move forward with that. But as a quick recap, pretty much the only remaining issue that we had from the last meeting was the justifiable concern that the commission had that the project as proposed was going to meet the intent of the Massachusetts Stream Crossing Standards. And the two options that we discussed at the end of the meeting was to either go back to the town and see if we could look at a larger span that would better meet the intent of the Stream Crossing Standards, or to reach out to Mass DEP to get an interpretive ruling of what we were proposing, which was a 14-foot span. After conferring with the town, and Tony's here, obviously, he can speak to that. After conferring with the town, we decided to go with a larger span. And that's something that the town would still be able to work in, and Tony, please elaborate, within the budget, slightly modified, that the town has available for funding. That was the concern all along, is, the larger span is going to cost the town more money. So what the decision was is to try to go forward with the larger span. And we did not basically reach out to Mass DEP for interpretive ruling because we're going with the larger span. What we then did after speaking with the town is we reached out to Beals and Thomas, and Roy, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it from here on that.
Yeah, so reached out to Beals and Thomas, kind of, we want to touch base with them, give them the approach that we were going to go forward with, see if they were in agreement with that, because we know, they did the review for the Conservation Commission. So we presented what we want to propose was using most conservative, the stream stats are the 19 and change width upstream, downstream, and then the 8-foot width, the existing cover location. That will give us the average width. Then from there, the 1.2 to meet the mass stream standards gives us proposed bridge of.
We can hand this out too.
Proposed width requirement of 8.7 off the top of my head. So once we did that, we reached out to the precast bridge fabricator to see if they had that size available and still meet the same height. We have to, the height we also have to meet for the roadway. They had one that was pretty close. They sent us a sketch of what they had available to us. And it's in there, you'll see it there. So it would meet both conditions. And then Beals and Thomas, they just, once we provide, what they're looking for us to do, besides the stream sets, is also use some field indicators just to make sure, we meet that requirement for the master stream standards and provide them the data back up so that they have it.
Yeah, what they basically said is again, having that field data, and Paul can expand on that a little bit, but having that field data provides them enough information to show or to justify for the commission that the intent of the stream crossing standards has been met to the maximum extent practical. That in turn would give, again, hopefully all the parties a good comfort level. And what that would also enable us to do, if the commission does agree with that, is we could then, relative to the Corps of Engineers, justifiably check off that yes, we are meeting the stream crossing standards, which allows the project to go with a self-verification as opposed to having to go with the pre-construction notification permitting, which is a much, much longer process. And what we're trying to do here, and again, Tony, please correct me if I'm wrong, the obligation that the town has is to be able to get under contract by the end of this year. So obviously what we would want to do is be able to get permission from the commission, and if that approach that we're talking about makes sense to the commission, then we can go ahead and redo the design, submit that information in, basically complete the process as far as the commission is concerned. Obviously we'll have to do resubmittals to DEP, but that'll at least get that process going. And to date, we still have not heard back from DOT on the 14-foot span, so we would have to resubmit to them for the 18 feet 7-foot span that we're, 18 feet 7-inch span that we're proposing here. And then wait for that, but we again are not anticipating any comments or any changes from DOT because it's still below that 20-foot magic number that we're talking about.
I just add to fill in about the Beals and Thomas wanting initially when we talked about the 14-foot span, they want us to look at field indicators. Well, I did flag Riverfront out there, which they reviewed, which is based on mean annual high water. And the field indicators for mean annual high water are really the same field indicators that they were looking at. They did concur with those delineation flags, and even like I was just reviewing, I was reminded, they said, for instance, between flag X and Y, mean annual high water flag, they scaled it on the plan and it was about 17 feet, which is pretty close to the 19.4 feet of the stream stats. So we'll provide that to them, but that's what that response will be, and that it's consistent with the flags that were out there that they already looked at.
And they actually did, as Roy had mentioned, they did when we were first talking about using stream stats. They said you can use field indicators. That's actually probably better method to use. So that's the second option that you see there that's coming in, where we talk about the 17-foot span between the flags. And that gives you the average of 16.8 feet after you multiply it by 1.2. So the span we're proposing is 18 feet 7 inches, and the requirement using that method, the averaging method, but using the field indicators and the width of the actual culvert, we would basically meet that requirement. The other thing that we would do is Beals and Thomas does have some comments that they provided back to the commission. So we want to quickly respond back to those, again, with the okay of the commission, just letting them know what the approach is going forward. We had an informal discussion with them, but we want to formalize that, get back to their comments, and then resubmit what we have to the commission so we can move forward.
Just my understanding before we go, so it's 19 or 17 foot upstream or 19 or 17 foot downstream, but then you're averaging the third one in as the 8 foot, the existing culvert. Is that the way they tend to do things on a culvert replacement? They use the width of the existing culvert in one of the measurements? I'm not...
Well, I don't know the answer to that. I think from a logic standpoint, you would not use the width of the existing culvert because it's 150 years old, and they probably just put the abutments as close to the stream as they could get them so that they could minimize the span. I don't think that is what's intended by the stream crossing standards today. The objective, as they've said, is to meet the stream crossing standards today to the extent practicable. So that the question for you all is, what's the extent practicable? The interesting thing to me is that when I talked to Matt at Beals and Thomas, he was not quite as sure that they agreed at their meeting that the stream crossing standard was met. I wasn't there, so I don't know what the disparity was between the opinions. My question, which you should ask, is, do you believe that this span meets the stream crossing standards? They are going to take responsibility. You are not going to take responsibility for this.
They're going to take responsibility?
They are going to take responsibility for meeting the stream crossing standards. It's not up to you to take responsibility for that.
So, it's they're off by, if that's the case, if we just did it as, the bigger number would be 19.4 and 19.4 divided by 3, it'd be 19.4, because they'd all be exactly the same. But it's coming up as 18 feet, 7 inches.
19.4 times 1.2.
Which results in approximately 23 foot span.
So it'd be a 23 foot span.
How long is it? How long was
23.
Yeah, so then that's coming in 4.5 feet short then. I was under the impression that it was going to be 19.4 exactly because it's 8 inches short, but that's 4.5 feet short. So I have no idea. If you don't know the answer, I don't.
It makes a big difference whether it's 17, which is what they've shown here, or 23. It makes a big difference because
well, even though that's 17, they're still doing the 8 foot span as one of them. So it would be 17. If all three measures are the same, it would be 17 times 1.2, and that still is more. But or is it 18? Or is it 19.4 times 1.2? Either way, they're coming in short.
Yeah.
So how do you define greatest extent practicable?
That's what we're trying to
Because it doesn't say possible; it says practical.
But it also tells you to measure the width of the stream at the proposed location, where it is currently 8 feet. Like that is what that number is not made up.
No, but it's 8 feet there because of 100-year-old
But
change
that
to
is
it.
what the...
But you can't measure something that doesn't exist.
No, I
you
know.
can't eyeball where you think the stream would be if the culvert wasn't there.
TJ, I'm going by what Frank said. That may not be one of the valid measurements.
One thing to keep in mind is that the stream, the stream is a regulatory floodway. So if you consider the possibility of, say, a 100-year storm, you're going to put a lot of water through that hole. And so you need to have a big enough hole.
My
to put it
understanding.
But what I was going to say is the difference between this 17-foot span and a larger span is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that I believe they're trying to bring to the front, is that the town doesn't want to spend the kind of money that we're asking them to spend.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Greatest extent practical doesn't say greatest extent possible. Practical as in we don't have money for a giant bridge.
And we are paying for
I'm prepared to
it.
accept that as an answer. I just didn't know if that flies with DEP.
My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the width of the bridge or the culvert, the main purpose is for wildlife to be able to get through without needing to squish it. So basically the ground level will be the same throughout. And in my mind, that this matches that. Even though it isn't the 1.2, it's pretty close to it. So 99% of the time when the water's at the average rate the fish aren't going to be touching the edges of the walls and bumping into it. Not that would happen, but they're not doing
They've been going through 8 feet. They've been going through 18 and a half feet. So, well, the other thing I'd point out too is, Frank, if I remember correctly from the last time, the thing that I actually ended up challenging on that, and then you concurred, was that it says that they have to improve, but it doesn't say that they have to beat the standard. They're supposed to beat the standard as long as there's an improvement over what was already there. And adding 10 extra feet to an 8-foot span into an 18 points or 18. That's
I'm not sure you understood what we were talking about there.
I'm sure I didn't.
The improvement part was to address the stormwater management requirements. They have done that. They have done that up top.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. All that we're left with now is how wide this opening needs to be. That's all that we need to talk about.
I believe Mr. McManus wanted to make a point.
I was just going to answer Mr. Heal's question, which about he was asking about the channel. Mm-hmm. So right now there's kind of a Cobbly Brook channel under there, and the proposal is to expand, to widen that, but also to put some banks in there, so that there's a little bit of terrestrial habitat along there under normal water conditions. Obviously, in a flood, as Frank said, it's going to be full barrel through there. But so the intent is to widen that channel with the same substrate. So the flows will actually under storm conditions, the flows will actually slow down a bit, and then there'll be that terrestrial habitat, which is to your point, what the stream crossing standards are getting at. That's part of what they're getting at.
So basically, most of the time, my mind is right now, I'm assuming when it goes through an 8-foot culvert, the water is just speeding up. So any animal that's kind of coming along is like, get shot through. They want to keep the speed of the water to go at about the same rate as it goes under the bridge or under the culvert. That's what I'm hoping for. And in my mind, it seems like that this meets that standard, even though it's not 1.2, so it doesn't have the additional 0.2 dry area per se, dry on an average.
So the thing that's preventing us from getting the full 23 feet is the cost. Is that right? There's no physical reason.
It's cost, and then cost on multiple fronts. Cost from a design, construction perspective, cost from a permitting, because now you're going to a larger span, so now there's more involvement for DOT, because you're going in excess of that 20-foot, span distance. And then I don't think there would be anything else on the core, so but basically you're correct, it's gonna be the cost. And right now, and again, Tony, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the town has proposed a article
Yes.
to bridge the gap from going from what was originally proposed 14 feet to this larger 18-foot 7-inch. But if you would have had to go to a 23-foot span, the likelihood is the town, again, I'll use Tony's words, you would have a permitted project that you can't afford to build. So now you're going to wind up losing the grant money that you already have because it has to be earmarked by the end of this year. So you basically will forfeit the $740,000 or $760,000.
What is the difference between what's the additional cost now?
So there's a cost to purchase this. So to purchase a 14-foot bridge, there's a price. To purchase the 18, once we jump up to this, it's an extra, I think, $35,000 from the manufacturer. But remember, the contractor puts a markup on that. Then there's all the additional work that goes along with that. So totally, we estimated probably be around another additional $75,000.
That's to get to this size or to get to the bigger size?
To the bigger size.
To get to this side.
That
To get to the proposed
You would go for the 23,
Yeah.
it escalates even larger.
So somewhere around, just short of 100,000.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you know offhand, Mr. Town Planner, how much money we have from ARPA for the project currently?
700, over $700,000. So
So we need about 8.
So what happens is, as stated, we have until the end of 2026 to expend the money to design and construct. If we do not do that, if we don't have a construction contract in place, I had stated to these gentlemen, we need a construction contract in place, so this needs to go out to bid by January 1st. We need to build this in 2026. If not, at the end of 2026, that money goes away. And all we're left with is a permitted project that we had money to use to build it. And on top, and it goes away. So now we have to go find money for a culvert that we know is not in good shape because we put steel plates on it. And it's for a street that has 3 houses and 1 piece of vacant property. So we were hoping, and I'm hoping that, but it's up to the commissioners. You're comfortable in how you feel. It's better than 8, it's better than 14, but it's not the 23 because it'll put us into the stratosphere like building a Bourne Bridge. And Hanson, residents of Hanson can be interesting because they can say, if we have to go to the residents of Hanson and say, okay, I'm going to use this just for discussion purposes, $3 million to build a bridge across down Pratt Place for 3 houses. We know there's residents are going to be like, why do we need to spend $3 million for 3 houses on Pratt Place? So there's an opportunity here to solve an issue with money in hand. But again, it's what the commission is comfortable with. What I'm trying to do is, what is your comfort level, and so that we can give them a direction. If the commission says you're happy with what's there, then that's the direction you're going. If you're not happy and you want the full 23 feet, then we would tell them to design. But we just know that going to the 23 feet, design-wise, will probably just mean a design that gets permitted and will not get built.
All right, well, so all that being said, the next question is, how confident are you guys that this compromise size is going to be, 20 years from now, we're not going to have a problem down there?
We're confident to the point where, again, we have to be the ones that are certifying to go through the self-verification process that we have met the intent of the stream crossing standards. So we're confident that we can make that statement so that when we do, on behalf of the town, when we do put that application, then we can check that off. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Well, I mean, I didn't expect you to say you weren't confident.
Just the way you're saying, you say confident, you mean it can manage a 100-year storm event? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Worst case scenario, aside from.
Yeah. So we, as part of our previous responses, we had ran models from 2, 10, 25, 100-year storm events
Yeah.
using the 14-foot span, which could manage it.
Yeah, so we're now going to 18 foot 7 inch. So again, we don't have any concern with the volume. So it really comes down to the question is if the commission is comfortable with the statement that we're asking them to make, that the stream crossing standards have been met to the maximum extent practicable.
Okay, so.
But who makes that decision? Who, like you were saying, that's them and not us that needs to say that the stream.
What I would do, and I'm just throwing this out there for you, for your consideration, is that I would condition the order to say that they must abide by the general there's a set of general rules from the Army, and a set of conditions that the Army imposes on all their projects, regardless of whether it's a self-verification project or a PCN project. And I would make that a condition of the order that they must meet the Army Corps requirements. Now, if they submit a self-verification form and the Army says, no, this is wrong, you don't meet the standards, then it's on them, not on you. If I were in your place, I would not take responsibility for them meeting the stream crossing standards, because they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to go to the Army with a self-verification, that's fine, that's on them. But they have to meet the conditions that the Army has already set. There's a set of conditions that the Army has for this bridge. I would also condition it to say that any conditions imposed by the DOT, which we don't even know yet, because they haven't responded, any conditions from the DOT would have to be met as well, so that you're protected from responsibility for making a decision that's not correct.
So who's working with the DOT? Is that the select board? Is that you? Is that
No,
them?
they've submitted it.
Just you guys, and they haven't responded. You haven't gotten anything back from the DOT.
I have not heard back.
Do you believe you're doing the right thing per the DOT? Like that you believe it'll
They came back with what? Couple.
They asked us for the geotech report. We submitted that to them.
You submitted.
How about the Army Corps' requirements?
Haven't done anything with the Corps yet because.
Well, but you know what the requirements are.
Yeah.
And you think this will fly?
Yeah. But we're confident that we can still, again, and I understand, and Frank is correct, put the onus on the applicant, which is the town, and the applicant's engineer, which is us,
Right.
to basically say, are you meeting, the stream crossing standards to the maximum practical extent possible? We're checking off, yes, we are. And then relative to the Corps of Engineer, are you meeting the stream crossing standards, which we will be checking off by doing a self-verification? Yes, we are. In our opinion. And then I think to Frank's point, where you now have something in the conditions that we have to meet anything that the Corps comes back and says. So if the Corps comes back and says, no, you're not meeting them, now we've got to go ahead and fix that. If DOT comes back and says something, now we need to go back and fix that.
So the next question I have is, given all those ifs and whens that they get back, can we still get a contract signed in a timely fashion, as Tony was talking? Is that gonna slow the process down?
So I think the probable step, and stop me if I'm wrong, would be that if the commission voted to approve the project, the project that was presented to us with this span would go out to bid. And then anything that came back from any of these respective government agencies would have to be addressed as a change to the scope.
All right, so that works for you, Tony?
Yes, I would like to see, I'm not expecting the commission to close the hearing tonight and give an approval. What I'm hoping that the commission will do is give us a direction. If you say, yeah, we're comfortable with this, if you're comfortable with this, okay, fine, then move on. So they can design that and then give you those plans with that design so you can see it and put eyes on it.
Right.
And then at that point, if you're still comfortable, then make a decision and issue the order of conditions with the conditions that Frank's talking about. And we can also get the process going for bidding on that. And then understanding that, yes, as Jeff said, if there's something that comes up, that they're gonna have to address it.
So we still might be stuck with the $3 million bridge.
You know what? I don't.
If we get to $3 million, it's cheaper to buy the houses.
It is.
Well,
It is.
Yeah, if you can get it to sell. But yeah, I don't think that you'll wind up with a $3 million bridge. I think if there's support from the commission, I think that might be close. Yeah, I mean, so granted, those other agencies could still say what they want to say. But I think if there is some support, at least from the commission, that would go a long way.
I think it would behoove us to remember that we don't want perfect to be the enemy of good.
Right.
We have a structurally failing, undersized culvert there, and an opportunity to improve that situation. We have, in my time on this board, previously signed off on at least one culvert that comes to mind that couldn't meet the mathematical standards because of the physical conditions. So, if the
I wouldn't say that you would want to use that as a precedent.
Oh, Bardensburg.
You're gonna continue this.
Right.
So the question is, 10-1 is the next meeting? Are you gonna have it designed by then? Or
I think we're all looking over.
or is it
So
or is it gonna be 10-15?
It might be 10-15 because I have to reach out to the prefab manufacturer because they're going to provide us with, their stuff. This is the information they have tentatively now. And I broached it to Beals and Thomas, get their feedback. The way I left it with Beals and Thomas yesterday after the meeting was, I was going to present this to you so they knew, so make sure they were comfortable, get the Conservation Commission's feedback or buy-in, and then start preparing the responses to Beals and Thomas comments, and also start putting together the next plan package so that they can look at it and you guys can look at it.
So what date?
15th?
Do you want us to put you on for the first and we can continue if you're not ready?
Yeah, that works. So most likely it's going to be the 15th, just so you know.
But if the commission's okay doing that, we can just, converse with Frank and say, we're not gonna be able to make it.
Yes. No problem. Yeah. We don't. If you're not ready, we don't need you.
Yeah.
But on the chance that you're ready, that it's 2 more weeks that Tony buys on his head.
So it's the 1st and the 15th?
Yeah.
Correct. What are we looking at for times?
We don't have anything right now, so they can be number one.
6:30 work for everybody? Okay. The chair would entertain a motion to continue the hearing to Wednesday, October 1st at 6:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield, seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on the motion?
I just have one comment. Do we have to vote on anything that has to do with their plan here to let them go ahead, or do we just continue it?
Just continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what we're looking for is if you said, no, this doesn't fly, then that gives us the direction.
If we're going to vote this down, they're not going to waste the time to draw it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Do we want to?
so we're just not going to vote on it at all, right? Is that what you said?
Well,
We're just going to vote to continue. We're not going to vote on this.
We're not voting to approve anything tonight.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
no, but I think the point being what Tony asked is to find out whether he's looking to check the pulse and see whether we're inclined to accept this or not, and without actually answering that question to that
We're
person.
not, we haven't answered.
Yeah, like for all we know, you're planning to vote yes, and then there's 4 no's up here. You know, like we haven't really given them an indication that we're cool with the 18 feet 7
Right,
inches.
that's why I'm asking if we need to vote on something else.
Can we do a tentative vote of saying that we support that idea, just to let them do something? I don't know, literally just to give them the answer that yeah, go ahead and plan out the 18.
But it doesn't really hold any weight, except it kind of means, get just a pulse of the
In a
board.
direction.
Right, well, I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like they're going to run off, but like, what if literally everybody except for you, TJ, plans to vote no? Because we haven't actually officially told them that we're okay with it.
You can make any motion you want.
Well, can we move to take a vote for the sense of the commission?
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, could you poll the
Second.
Huh?
There doesn't have to be a
I
formal
move to
vote,
make an
right?
informal vote as to the general consensus that the applicant should pursue the 18 feet 7 inches plan. In an informal vote.
I'll second that.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a motion supporting pursuing the 18-foot 7 plan,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Made by Mr. Smith and seconded by Mr. Heel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining?
Okay.
So,
There we go.
So
I don't know
now,
that we needed to do that, but
That's helpful, thank you.
yeah, just
Go for what the
formally
draft
giving you the question of what's going on in our heads.
And just as a reminder, you still have to give Beals and Thomas the backup for,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
for that
right.
full width that they asked for.
Yeah.
Right. But this
To
is
show
based on what we
the
know now.
So,
Yeah.
back to where we were. The chair would entertain a motion to continue the hearing to Wednesday, October 1st at 6:30 p.m.
so moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield, seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Motion passes 5-0-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you on the
Hopefully
First,
see you
maybe
on the
15th.
first, but you will hear from us before the first. Hopefully see you on the first, how's that?
Well, if you get him to put in some hours. Can I just throw that out there?
We got a few other guys in the office too.
Easy. We don't want them to start billing it overtime money.
Okay, thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The next public hearing on our agenda that we are now comfortably behind is a 7:30 p.m. continued request for determination of applicability for Keolis Commuter Services, represented by Matt Donovan Benich.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Can you identify yourself for the record?
Yes, I'm Matt Donovan from Nash, representing Keolis.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Mr. Donovan. So,
Thanks for your patience.
let's see. Ed, were you here the last time they came?
Last time, yeah.
Keolis came?
Yes.
5 years ago? 4 years ago, whatever it was?
Yes.
Steve, were you?
No, I wasn't on the
Right.
commission yet.
I was here. You were here.
I know you were here.
Release wasn't it?
And Elise was not, no. All right. So, you just want to start with a quick overview of why we're here for those that haven't been part of this before?
So we bring this RDA to your commission every 5 years, required by CMR 11. CMR 11 is regulations specifically for rights of way, and this is for vegetation management along the commuter rail right of way. We have made these maps in accordance with the sensitive area restrictions of CMR 11.04. That dictate the markings on the tracks for the different spray zones and different areas of vegetation management levels and restrictions. So we've made these maps in conformance with CMR 11.04 and in conformance with the DEP guidelines for the mapping criteria for these maps. We are seeking a positive 2A determination for the confirmation of these maps, as well as a negative determination for the work that's included in the vegetation management plan. The vegetation management plan is submitted to Mass DAR, and it's required to get these determinations before getting that approval from Mass DAR for the vegetation management plan, which is a 5-year plan. We also have yearly operational plans that we send to your commission every year via certified mail. they give a little more detail in the vegetation management work that's going on. I think regardless of where the commission is in terms of a determination, I think it is regardless a good time to look at these maps and what these markings are. And if they want to take a closer look at any markings, I think this is the time to do it. We do take this opportunity to fine tune these maps, as they don't change much. This is the right of way that has been for years and years now. It is the opportunity every 5 years that we do take to describe the work that happens and to go over these maps. As far as the work goes, every year there is an herbicide application that happens with an on-track vehicle it's like a tanker truck that goes on the track. It has nozzles on the backside of it that spray the solution directly down onto the tracks, up to 12 feet from the center line of the tracks. The applicator is always accompanied by an environmental monitor equipped with these maps. The maps have markings in the field that coincide with the markings that you see on the maps. So they can look at the maps and they can also look at the track and see where they can and can't, where they need to turn the outside nozzles off. Where in the yellow zones, they'll always turn the shoulders off. They may still spray directly on the track at the environmental monitor applicator's discretion, but they'll always turn those shoulders off in the yellow zones. And they can turn that off with the flip of a switch. The blue zones will receive the full roadbed treatment at a 1 year interval, and the dark blue zones will receive the full roadbed treatment at a 2 year interval, and those are more so DEP and like water supply zones. We have brought this to your commission every 5 years as required by CMR 11. So far this go around, we've gotten determinations from 88 of the 102 towns that Keelos runs through. We have gotten so far we've gotten a negative determination from every one of those towns. And I know there has been talk of a positive 2B determination to not confirm these maps from this commission. We haven't received any of those from the 88 towns that we've gotten determinations from so far. And I'm not saying that should be a reason, but we did make these maps to be in conformance with the setbacks of CMR 11.04, which is specific for right-of-way vegetation management. We did follow the Mass DEP guidelines for mapping criteria for these maps. So it is our intent. We are seeking the positive 2A as well as that negative determination for this work to go on an annual basis. We will obviously continue to update your commission, certified mailings to your commission, the Board of Health, the Select Board, and Mass DAR every year, and NHESP. With the yearly operational plan, which includes the chemical mixture, all the different vegetation management details, the dates of the application. With that said, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Well, the reason we had the issue last time was because the maps were not current.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. So are the maps you have now more current than what you came to us before with?
Yeah, we put on every layer that Mass DEP suggested, guided us to put on there, including all the different Mass DEP wetland layers, the NHESP layer, the flood zone layer. We went out into the field to confirm that these markings are in place and confirm the boundaries in the field. So yeah,
So you've updated the map.
We take due diligence. We increase the scale 10 times from what we submitted last to the scale that the DEP has guided us to. So yes, we have.
To clarify, when you say you went into the field and verified the boundaries, you mean the boundaries of your like blue-yellow zones or the boundaries of the resource areas?
Correct, the boundaries of the blue and yellow zones in accordance with the setbacks for the wetland boundaries. So the yellow zones have to be within 10 feet of the wetland resource area, and those are at least 10 feet back the blue zones are within 100 feet, and your entire town is blue. There's not a single white zone. So they are overly conservative, in my opinion. But like I said, I think it is a good idea to take a close look, and I'd be happy to take a closer look, make any changes to make that the commission would like to see. I think everyone can agree that this is necessary work to be done. So I mean, we're taking what we think is the right road. Like I said, there's a specific regulations specifically for this that we're following.
Right?
The last time this came before us in 2020, the commission gave a 2B determination. Did you go ahead and do the work anyway?
Yes, they are required to for safety. They have to.
So it really doesn't matter what we do here.
No, I think it definitely does matter. We were able to do the work because of the superseding determination, which was then appealed as well.
The superseding determination stated that we were correct to vote down the maps because they weren't field delineated, which at no point have you said that these ones have been field delineated by a wetland scientist.
They have not been field delineated by a wetland scientist.
The appeal of the superseding has yet to be resolved 5 years later.
Correct.
But the superseding that was issued 5 years ago stated that as with all wetlands projects, the limits of the resource area should be field delineated by a wetland scientist.
I don't think the superseding determination said that, and the Mass DEP guidance for wetland mapping criteria doesn't say that either. And I do believe that the superseding determination allowed the work to be done.
Well, we're kind of in a he said, she said kind of situation here.
Kind of.
I mean, I have that. I can pull it up, and maybe it's up. I haven't looked at it, but I have access to it. I don't know if that's what.
Let's not argue over that. We've argued that before. This, as he said, this RDA has come before the commission every 5 years for the last 25 years at least. I know that because I was on the commission previously. And each time before the last one, the commission gave a 2A and a negative, what? It's a -5 or -3?
A -2 and 3 typically.
Okay. Always did it just like he wants it. The last time it was before us, we said, you tabletopped the delineation. You didn't go out and do it.
Right. Exactly.
And so we can't say that your delineation is correct. Because everybody knows the Mass GIS is not correct. So we gave it 2B. And so this RDA has come in with exactly the same problem.
Right.
So it's pretty clear that the railroad is going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Whether we give them a 2B or a 2A. I'm not going to tell you what to do here. I'm just telling you that the delineation doesn't meet the requirements.
So
is it close? Probably.
Yeah. Can I speak to that? We do look at this as there's a delineation. Obviously, there's defined delineations by professional wetland scientists for like an NOI and under CMR 10, the WPA. This is a delineation for rights of way under CMR 11, and it's for these markings to be in conformance with the setbacks in CMR 11.04. That is what's important with this with this RDA, and there have been several commissions with the binding language of a determination, and this has come up because there are certain areas where CMR 11 and CMR 10 don't perfectly match, and no one's arguing that this is the perfect route to get approvals from every town, but that's the way that the DAR and DEP and the local commissions have set it up. So several commissions have given us the positive 2A while stating on the DOA form itself there's lines under it which say which just are blank lines, and several commissions have used that for language such as like this determination is only valid for the vegetation management plan in conformance with the CMR 11 regulations because it is binding. Like we are obviously our maps show there it's at 1 to 200 feet scale, and we have it on pages of paper. So there are lines like way off into the distance from the right of way. We're not seeking determination for that area. This is just for the markings on the tracks. So several commissions have used language like that to make it more so for this DOA form to kind of blend more with the CMR 11. So that is also an option to use as a tool.
I mean, that I guess it could be an option, but the language on the RDA form for a 2A specifically delineates the limits of the resource areas. The paperwork that DEP uses for this says the resource area is not your vegetation management zones. And I think that's the sticking point that we're having here, is that we are legally voting to confirm resource areas that we don't necessarily have the level of confidence in that we would normally require to vote to delineate those resource areas. It's not that we don't want to see the safe train travel maintained, but I think the question becomes, and the superseding determination that was issued 5 years ago did issue a positive 2B, not approving the maps.
And these are different maps that it's stated because they were too big, and then we changed it to the mapping criteria that the DEP issued after that, and we changed the maps to conform to that. And that's why there were 22 other towns that were appealed in 2020, and so far we've gotten determinations from 17 of those 22 towns that have all given the approval.
So in addition to that, the superseding determination issued a positive 3 and positive 4, saying that the mechanical cutting and ventilation within an area subject to protection of the Wetland Protection Act requires the filing of notice of intent, which I understand is another portion of what was appealed at the secretarial level, and there everybody stands twiddling their thumbs. So I guess what would be Keolis's contention as it applies to the exemption there?
Well, so the CMR 11 states that work done in conformance with CMR 11 and the Vegetation Management Plan and the Yearly Operational Plan, as approved by Mass DAR, is presumed to not alter a resource area. So that is the same language that a negative 2 and 3 uses, is the work is in a resource area but is presumed to not alter the resource area or the resource area buffer zone. So that the CMR 11, right in the first sentence of it states that this regulation is made for rights of way and is designed to limit chemical spray by the implementation of integrated vegetation management. So it requires us to use mechanical methods, especially in the blue and yellow areas where there's no other option. Especially in the blue areas, they're not able to to spray the areas adjacent to the track. In your town, it's all blue or yellow. There's no. We have another chemical program that I didn't even mention because it doesn't happen in your town because there's no white zones. That's where they spray off into the distance. In your town, they will only be doing the roadbed program within 12 feet of the track. The areas adjacent to the track where there's the overhead cables and the ditches and the culvert, which are all integral parts of a railroad. Drainage for the overhead lines, which is for safety. It's like I forget the word for it, but there's overhead lines along the railroad. They need to keep those free of vegetation and just there can't be trees, at-risk trees, potentially falling on the tracks. So they do require mechanical, and that's done more on an as-needed basis, especially in areas adjacent to the track where they're not able to do that brush chemical program because of the chemical restrictions. So
have the DAR and the DEP come to some understanding that exemption applies to the railroad?
The DAR
may have, but
right.
The question is, has the DEP agreed with that? Because the exemption doesn't apply to railroads.
But it is presumed to not alter the resource area. The DEP has not changed the exemption, but the language still stands that the work included in the vegetation management plan and the operational plan is presumed to not alter the resource area of buffer zones. There is still talks between DEP and MBTA and the state. Honestly, I think I've heard that it's in the governor's office as well. There have been joint
it's one of those unresolved areas because the Wetlands Protection Act is pretty clear that the exemption is applicable to this, and this, and the railroad isn't included in that, and that's what the DEP and the DAR and the executive offices are fighting. I shouldn't say fighting, but are trying to resolve.
Correct.
And it's literally been going on for 5 years. They still can't come to some conclusion. It seems to me that it would be the easiest thing to do is to put railroad in the Wetlands Protection Act, and that would probably solve that issue. But
yes, I agree, and I think it's just the act.
One of the things you're asking us to approve is that you can go off the roadbed and cut trees. That's not allowed under the Wetlands Protection Act. We can't approve that.
Well, it's required.
It may be required by DAR and CMR 11, but we are not here to pass judgment on CMR 11. We're here to pass judgment on an RDA under CMR 310 CMR 10. Okay, so
yeah, and it's tricky because it's required.
It's a dilemma for us to approve that.
Yeah, it is.
Right, and I don't think anyone's arguing with you that CMR 11 says that you're supposed to be able to do it. Mass General Law Chapter 140 says that you're not.
But it said that the work included in the CMR under the Vegetation Management Plan, as approved by DAR, is presumed to not alter resource area under Mass MGL, what you just said, 14. So I agree, and whatever the determination is, I think it also is important to take a look at these maps, and I don't know if anyone has reviewed them. I've looked over them, but that is what we're here for, to take that opportunity to, if you'd like me to go back and take any looks at these areas. Like I said,
I reviewed them, but not recently.
I'm sorry?
I said I reviewed them, but not recently.
Well, way back.
I've reviewed them, and as far as I'm concerned, they're just Mass GIS reproduced.
Right.
And it's a tabletop.
But it's on field conditions as well. It's not like we're just making these these markings are in the field.
You marked the track, you didn't
Correct.
mark the resource areas. You didn't go out and flag the resource areas and then put it on a plan.
Correct.
That's what the Wetlands Protection Act requires. So putting the marks on the track doesn't help us. And we can look at those maps all day long and they still don't meet the Wetlands Protection Act.
So is that something that we can push Keolis to do?
Well, that's what we tried last time.
That's what I tried last time. And they
as-
appealed it to the DEP, and the DEP gave them okay to go ahead and do what they have to do. And that's what will happen this time if you give them a 2B. They'll go back and get another superseding order.
Right.
Or,
Does DEP just
or-
keep giving exceptions?
or you can approve a 2A and give them a negative 2 and 3, like was done 4 or 5 times previously.
Well,
I would suggest with that to use that language. That it's for the vegetation management.
well, the problem is we can't really do that, as far as I can tell.
That's up to you all.
Legally.
So the issue that we ran into last time is that
It's the same as we get now.
we don't have we don't have a flagging report from a wetland scientist,
Right.
and we don't have access to the property
Right.
to verify it.
Right.
And Mr. Donovan doesn't work for Keolis themselves, but the people that came last time were pretty adamant that they would have us arrested for trespassing
Right.
if we so much as looked down the tracks from the street.
Yes, they did.
We'd be happy to accommodate any site visits. I was very open with that right from the beginning, and I would encourage that. Like I've been saying this whole time, it's important to take a look at these markings because this work it has to be done, and it does get done under that superseding order.
With that wouldn't really do much though, would it? Because there's no wetlands delineation out there.
We need wetlands.
Is that correct?
delineation.
You can go out and look at their blue and yellow marks. I mean, that,
No, that's what I mean. That's their
No
money.
point in going out there with
I mean, it's not feasible to do it.
Right.
And I was here for the last meeting. To all extent practical, this is the best product you could get to meet the requirements of CMR 11.04, which is the sensitive area restrictions. There are sensitive area restrictions that are dictated on the tracks for wetlands that are 100 feet away. So if there's a wetland 100 feet away from the center line of the track, that requires a blue zone. We can't be going on people's private property 100 feet away as the right-of-way is only 40 feet wide in most areas that are 50 feet wide.
Right.
The determination for thousands of acres throughout the state of Massachusetts is not practical, especially with it being on other people's property, and that's why we typically are very conservative with the markings, especially in the blue zones. Yellow zones are a lot more easy to mark because it's within 10 feet, and that's you can see the wetland within 10 feet, and you can see on the maps they're all marked. I'd be happy to take someone out there or go take a closer look at any of these areas.
the problem with Hanson is that it's mostly wet.
Right.
Yes.
The railroad was built through the wetland. So,
Most of the town is wet, and most of the railroad is wet.
so
So how can we vote on this so they can do what they need to do, and we're not making our personal interpretation of the Wetlands Protection Act?
Well, as we have kind of clearly established, what we vote tonight is not actually an impediment
Well, I know.
in any way, shape, or form.
I understand that.
Which is why I encouraged Mr. Donovan to let's put this behind us because we all know how this is going to play out either way.
Exactly.
If the commission wants to, we can vote a positive 2A saying that the maps can be used for the vegetation management plan and nothing else. If the commission wants to, we can vote a positive 2B, which is that we do not agree with the resource delineations on the map. And that'll be appealed. And whether not, where an appeal goes, we can't speak to. But the appeal process does not stop Keolis from conducting the necessary vegetation management to keep the railroad operable.
Are those our two options for the most part?
Well, that's my question. How
as
can we
it
vote
pertain-
on this in such a way that we're not presuming to interpret the...
As it pertains to them, we have to vote for the maps, one way or the other, correct? They are one of the items in the RDA.
One way or the other.
So there are two choices. Yes, we agree with the maps. No, we do not agree with the maps. Now, we can modify that, as Mr. Donovan said, other communities have done. We could modify that, yes, to say that they are applicable only in this specific instance, and that any more in-depth non-vegetation project would require coming back. They can't depend on this as it sits.
Well, that's my question. That's the answer to my question. So, seems to me that's where we have to go.
I mean, this is not something where, going back to the last hearing, this is not something where we can put the responsibility on someone else. Right. We as a commission are voting yes or no on these maps.
I'm having a hard time seeing how we can do other than the second option.
Yeah.
So this was the issue that we ran into last time, was that we did not feel comfortable endorsing a resource area map that wasn't based on items in the field. I do think that Mr. Donovan raises a valid point, that access to other people's property is a limiting factor in a field survey, especially in certain towns, this probably being one of them.
Can you do a resource marking with just staying on within your?
So as it pertains to, this is where I think a little bit of the discrepancy lies, is that the language in the RDA form calls for us to approve the resource areas as delineated on the map. And because resource areas up to 100 feet away from the tracks are applicable to these color-coded zones and the particular management plan, I don't know that you're actually going to see every wetland on the map, because it's certainly feasible to just mark on the map that there's a wetland within 100 feet and not scale the map out to cover all of that. And if it's 70 feet away, you probably can't see it from the tracks if you walk the tracks or ride the tracks in a truck, whatever, however this kind of process would take place.
We made these maps to the guidance that the Mass DEP set forth.
Have you seen the maps?
They were in the original filing
for this year.
Yes, they came in, I think, late May. We received it. I think we were originally on the agenda for June.
I think it came in April.
April, whatever. Yeah, it's been
a long time.
We've been continuing this one for a while.
That's why you need to finish it tonight. Let's vote something.
So, I think, as we've established from 5 years ago, if we vote a positive 2B and Keolis appeals it, Mass DEP issued a superseding positive 2B, and there are no trees growing in the middle of the train tracks in the last 5 years. So,
that's the truth.
The work will be performed.
Right, but will we be doing the right thing by doing a 2B? I guess doing the right
just
thing.
because it's ineffective doesn't mean that we should do it.
The 2B was issued by DEP because the maps were too big. They specifically said that, and then they came out with the mapping guidelines for vegetation management.
So what happens then if we vote that way, then you appeal it to DEP, but they say that your maps are not vague? What happens then? Do they just overturn us?
Yes. So it's superseding a a superseding determination is called a superseding because it supersedes our
it
decision.
overturns us, but they overturned it to the 2B.
No, we issued a positive 2B last time.
Oh.
The superseding agreed with us on that.
Yes.
I believe some of the other. So the superseding agreement from 5 years ago issued a positive 2B, a positive 3, a positive 4, a negative 3, and a negative 5, and kind of tried to split the baby.
Yeah.
Whereas I think our original vote might have been pretty much all against Keolis. So I think there was some splitting of the baby in that one. But the note on the superseding determination was that the boundaries of the resource areas shown on the USGS plans and described in the document submitted with the request for determination are too vague and cannot be confirmed. And so it doesn't say that. It doesn't say specifically that the maps are too vague. It says that the boundaries of the resource areas are too vague.
So I have a question. So, simplifying it here. So, years ago, we said no, DEP agreed with our no-ish, and then they did it anyway? How does that work?
They also gave other determinations that allowed. So they said the maps were too vague, but then they said the vegetation management is still allowed under the negative 2 and 3, I believe.
Right. So we are. We are kind of prohibited from like stopping train service.
No, I get that.
Over vegetation management.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out why should they change their stance if the maps are not delineated by wetland scientists?
I don't think anybody's trying to stop it. I think we just want delineated maps.
And I think
that are correct.
I think it's important to remember that if Keolis were to hire a wetland scientist, that doesn't mean that every resource area shown on the plan would be flagged.
Correct.
Because Keolis can only guarantee access to their parcel.
Right away. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
Well,
to
it's
you.
better than using GIS, which is just an estimate.
But we also know Hanson's just a big wetland.
But we're talking about the areas that are not visible from the train track that are up somebody's property line, trees or something.
In my opinion, that would be worse than using GIS because we would miss areas that would require blue zones.
Well, I would assume it would be used in conjunction.
Okay, yes, in conjunction. And that's what we do.
In other words, like, I can't see it, so it must not exist. Like say, you use the wetland scientists to show that there are additional areas that are wetland, not to exclude areas that are not visible.
I don't know that additional is the correct term. It would be to more precisely delineate the location of.
What I'm saying is, whatever you can't see, you just assume the GIS is correct.
Right.
To the best you can do, is what are you going to do?
So I think, we can vote either of the two ways. But at the end of the day, we do have to vote one way or the other on the map. And then was it a negative 3 or a negative 5 for the actual work?
2 and 3.
2 and 3?
2 and 3.
Which I think the work itself isn't really. The vegetation management plan is the vegetation management plan crafted in conjunction with the mass regulations.
Yeah. And it probably won't change how much they cut if we do have somebody come out and map it. We don't know how much would it actually change.
We don't know if it would change anything, no.
Right.
Well, I'm just suggesting that we put that wording in there that indicates that we're not complacent about the maps, but we understand the work has to be done. That's where I'm coming from with asking if there's some way we can approve this, put it to bed, but make that statement, maybe something like Mr. Donovan suggested, that just states that this is a one-shot thing only for this application, right?
Right. So I guess technically there would be 3 options in front of us. There's a unrestricted positive 2A, go forth and use these maps for anything you feel like. There's the description limited 2A that we are approving these for use in conjunction with the vegetation management plan and nothing else.
Yeah.
And there would be a positive 2B, which is we reject the maps. Which again, the last 5 years have shown us is perhaps accurate, but not necessarily effective.
But we're not trying to stop them from doing the work anyway. I'm just suggesting that we indicate in some fashion that we're looking out for the Wetlands Protection Act And we feel that the 11 and 10 have conflict. I think we need
Is there something we can
somehow be on record in that.
That'll be option 2.
I am pro
Right,
that
we're able to
choice.
put the
It
option
seems like a
2A,
common
the
sense
middle.
approach.
Yeah, that way they go do their work, but we're on record as saying,
Yeah.
we're not buying this 11 and 10 are just copacetic with each other, which the DEP already said, right?
Technically speaking, the appeal from these supersedings 5 years ago is still not resolved.
Yeah, right.
So,
That would be my suggestion.
It went to the previous governor's office and never got resolved. I don't know where exactly it stands currently.
That option strikes me as saying the maps are wrong, but go ahead and do it anyway. Like that. I mean, I understand it. Like
We're not saying they're wrong. We're just saying we can't verify them.
if they're not verified, as far as I'm concerned,
and we're supposed to verify. That's what we're.
Yeah, my stance there is that what we're saying is that it's like, well, we don't agree with these maps, but go ahead and use them for this one thing.
Because
we
we're
either agree with them or we don't.
The maps were created in conformance with the Mass DEP criteria.
But we can't
for
verify
map.
them.
Which would be a reason to send it back up to DEP to let them have their crack at overturning it.
To be fair, the Mass DEP criteria has been updated since we went out through all this 5 years ago because we're a large part of this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying though, is that if that's the case, and if they've updated the maps to meet whatever their standards are, they're not meeting our standards, so I say we vote no to it, and then let them appeal it to DEP, and if DEP says it's okay, then they give them whatever the A option is, and then I'll cease my objection at that point, but I'm just...
I think the concern to keep in mind if we do that is that if they go back to DEP and get an unrestricted positive 2A,
then so be it. Then it's not. We washed our hands and we tried to say we don't like these maps. But
you're saying unrestricted as far as it's not just for vegetation. Is that what you mean? But it's for anything any work they plan.
Once the map is approved, it's an approved map.
Yeah. But if we don't,
That's why the caveat about
not do
this.
the other work. If they take the middle of the road option where we approve it just for vegetation removal, the next time they need to do anything other than vegetation removal, we're back in that same boat. Either the map is good or it's bad.
Well, then we need
We won't use this determination will not be used for any other work other than the vegetation management.
No, but suppose there was some other thing that needed to be done.
back here.
We would come back if we had to build a sidetrack or put in a culvert or something like that.
Would you then delineate the?
Yes,
the wetlands at that point?
we would go through the correct. For culvert replacements, we would submit an NOI typically.
Because you would only have to delineate the area right around the work area rather than the entire the track.
Yeah,
Okay.
if there's bridge work or any construction work.
My thought, and I don't really know how you would ever do this, is a 2A. Like say it can only be used for this purpose, but we have an issue with the map. We don't know how you want to put that the map is not verified.
But that's the second option.
Well, no,
We're saying
I'm not saying no. I'm saying yes, but we can't.
Well, it would be.
I'm not saying they can't do their work. I'm not.
The work's getting done.
Additional clause.
Yeah, the work's getting done either way. The second option that TJ proposed was basically that. It's giving them the 2B option, but then saying the map is valid only for the single purpose of vegetation removal, no other purpose.
Also, the maps might not be correct. That's
Yeah.
what Ed's now saying.
Oh, okay. He wants to put in a reason why we say it's only used for vegetation purposes because we believe them to be inaccurate or something like that.
I think
or we suspect that they are not. However you want to phrase it, something a little bit.
I don't even know that they're not accurate. We just don't know. We don't.
Right.
They could.
That's the thing. Yes, exactly. We're being asked to validate a map that is we have no sight on. And
what's your take on it, Dave?
I already said what I had to say.
The exact language of a 2A, if we vote for it, is that the boundary delineations of the following resource areas described on the reference plans are confirmed as accurate. Therefore, the resource area boundaries confirmed in this determination are binding as to all decisions rendered pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act and its regulations regarding such boundaries for as long as this determination is valid.
Yeah, so
with lines under it that would say
With-
this determination is solely for the purpose of the vegetation management plan in accordance with the approved. And that
Seems like we all have different feelings. It's going to be hard to come to one.
Well, I'm just looking for a compromise way that we can just put this to bed.
Yeah. Are we close enough? Or we just, I don't know.
We, at this point, can either keep talking in circles or start voting on motions, and folks can vote as they see fit.
Okay.
to the most extent possible, I think this is the best these maps are going to get to any extent practical. But I would be happy to go by whatever the commission feels comfortable issuing. And
So I wouldn't know the wording of the motion. You're much better at that part.
To start with, is there anybody that wants to vote on a unrestricted 2A approval?
No.
Okay. So then step one, the chair would entertain a motion to issue a positive 2A determination for the vegetation management maps with the modifying condition that the approval applies only to vegetation management under the approved vegetation management plan.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded on, for the moment, just the maps. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. All those in favor of a modified positive 2A for the maps, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Abstaining? Okay, so that motion passes 4-0-1, correct?
Yep.
410.
4-1-0, sorry. Okay, so that settles the maps. And then it's a -2 and 3 for the work, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. The chair would also entertain a motion to close the hearing and issue a -2 and -3 determination endorsing the work described in the vegetation management plan using the maps accompanying the application.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Mansfield, seconded by Mr. Heel. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? That motion passes unanimously. And the paperwork will be forthcoming.
thank you, everyone.
You gotta drive back to New Hampshire?
Portland,
Even
right?
better.
Portland?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know why Keelis will only use this engineer in Portland. But
Yeah. Good job security for me, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Wait, you drive all the way down here to just do this one meeting and then go back?
I was in the field all day today,
Oh,
and I had another meeting and
Gotcha. I was thinking you drove 3 hours south to go talk to us for a half hour, then go back.
No, I stay busy out there, so
Okay.
I usually work it around field trips. But
yeah, I mean, that's part of why there's been many continuances between the original application.
yeah, I mean that and the 102 towns that we have to do. So there's a lot of meetings to get through. Gills, the commuter rail goes through 102.
TJ, question. Is this for the part
Well, drive
that
safe.
not vote
Thank
for
you, I appreciate it.
and thanks for your time.
Yes, you too. Good night, everyone.
So that is for,
The part that I said yes to, right?
it's a record of the vote, right?
It's for the whole.
You're good.
It's for the whole thing.
Sorry, Matt.
Then I won't sign that. It doesn't matter. It passes without me, so. Yeah. Well, because I just voted no, so it's weird to then go ahead and sign it.
It's up to you.
Yeah. I understand why you all voted the way you did.
It's all right. You get a
Yeah.
right to your opinion.
Good. No, definitely. That's why we do.
I would have voted with you.
Thank you.
I would normally have
I don't
to,
have a
but
vote.
I don't like
No.
the idea that the DEP gets to just overrule us.
I just get tired of going around in
Rules,
circles.
if they don't like the law, change the law. The law says they have to do a thing.
So this determination is issued to the applicant and is delivered as follows. This determination is valid for 3 years from the date of issuance, except determinations for vegetation management plans, which are valid for the duration of the plan, which in this case is 5 years. Determination must be signed by a majority of the Conservation Commission. A copy must be sent to the appropriate DEP regional office and the applicant / property owner.
4 out of 5 that pass.
So, it's officially a authorization of the vote, not necessarily the passing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I should have signed it.
Doesn't-
That doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
4 out of 5's not bad.
It's all good. It's all good, Steve.
No, I'm good.
They're gonna get a packet with positive 2A check
Yeah.
that you voted against,
Yeah.
and then also the negative 2 and 3 check that we all voted for unanimously.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was going to cause a problem with my name not being on it after I verbally voted a certain way. I didn't know if I have to sign it or
No.
Okay.
They can't give you more than 5 years.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Do it all again in 2030.
It's 3 or 5 years.
The time being 8:35 p.m. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? We stand adjourned.